Welcome back to our daily message from our divine compassionate guides. Thank you as always for joining me. My name is Julianne Duffy. My purpose is to live, speak, and seek the truth in all forms to help reconnect humanity to the highest form of authenticity. And I do appreciate that you joined me. My intention, as I've mentioned many times before, is to help heal and serve those that come across my message, that this message will help heal and serve you. Today I am pulling from the Starseed Oracle cards by Rebecca Campbell. Let's go right into our first part of the message. The first card for today, fall into my arms, surrender, holding opposites, the extreme of life. Wow. Let's go to the next one. Baby steps. Action, follow your intuition before it makes sense. Sounds a lot like trusting the divine coming back in. Surrender, extremes of life, follow with your intuition, even if it doesn't make sense, essentially. That's a lot of it, trusting the divine. Same kind of message we keep picking up. Weight of the world. Boundaries let go. It's not yours to carry. Nice. Okay. As I always recommend, if you haven't, take a deep breath in. And as we exhale, let's dive into each of the messages. So surrendering, holding the opposites, extreme of life. So this one is about, we often see things as good and bad. So when things don't go well, we make it mean that when things go well, we mean that we're rewarded. And when things go bad, sometimes we think we've done something wrong. However, we're all here to expand and grow. And through the extremes of life, that is what we exactly do. So we are being invited with this first card here to welcome the highs and lows of the human experience, to let them initiate you more fully into life. The agony and the ecstasy, the beauty and the bitterness. This life is but a single breath in the inextinguishable existence of your experience as a soul. So our great mother wants us to hand over our loneliness, worries, sorrows, and fears, anything that's keeping us from being connected to divine, hand them over to her and let them go. And remember that while these extremes might be difficult, they can be magnificent. The more wildly the pendulum of your life swings, the more truthfully you can say you've truly lived. So I feel this also does really overlap with the idea of being uncomfortable. There might be some extremes where it makes you uncomfortable, but through these extremes is where the biggest parts of our life journey goes. That's where we make the biggest steps. If we're still within our comfortable discomfort and we're not taking any steps and we're not trusting that the divine has our guide because we're too fearful and we like the discomfort we're already in, and we know it's not great, but we know it. It's the enemy. We know it's we already understand this energy. So there's not a lot of, unless you decide that you don't like feeling like that, which usually has to push you to an extreme of discomfort, you're not going to. You would rather be disconnected, not trusting the divine and staying in that fearful mode. That's not going to help you spiritually evolve. This is the time to go through those extremes, the discomfort. Like even if it is just making a divine practice each day, maybe doing some breath work and some I am statements and writing them out, goal setting, anything that makes you just, even if it's uncomfortable, doing it is the first step. And if it's an uncomfortable task, that is going to be even more important, especially if we don't feel like we're being supported. There is massive extremes happening in our life. And the way through it is that trust that divine has your back. Because when you don't feel like you have the divine has your back, then you feel that burden, sorrow, worries, anxiety, because you don't feel supported. That's where those energies come from when you aren't feeling supported by the divine. And then the next part of our message is the baby steps. So again, I feel like this is pretty clear that we are to follow our intuition, even if it doesn't make sense. So we are constantly getting out downloads. We've had this come up recently. It's again coming through that we get downloads and information, and we're guided to take some of these baby steps. But nothing's going to happen until we actually do them, because it's very easy to be like, oh, I think I should do this. Oh, no. I'll start tomorrow. I'll start next week, or, maybe not. You just sit on it so long that you don't take any baby steps. So this card is you're being called to take grounded action in response to your soul's calling. to start where we are and begin building in a consistent way. So many people stop themselves from living a soul-led life because they're waiting to know the destination before taking the first steps. That's exactly it. You're not doing anything because you want to get to the end result, but you haven't done any of the steps. Like, we still live in our 3D realm where we have to actually physically do things to assist our manifestation process. We have to start taking steps towards what we want to create. Our soul is always calling us every moment, every day. We are getting those inspirations. We just usually deny them or go, oh no, that's not believable, or oh, that's too hard, or I'm too tired. Like, there's always some reasoning that you push off the things that you kind of get this intuitive instinct to do. The way to find yourself living in harmony with the cosmos is to listen to your soul's baby calls and whispers each day and take those grounded actions in the direction of the calls and the whispers. So it's meaning actually do something about it. Time on Earth does go slower here than on other planets, and this can be frustrating for us, and because we want a faster pace to manifest. Thus, we will often give up before we even plant the seeds to start the manifestation process. Take time to take baby steps in the direction of your calling, to remember that you don't need to have all of it figured out. This is the reality. We might not know the way we're going to end up at that manifestation process. We're over here. We want to be 5 floors up and over 20 buildings, but we don't know how we're going to get there because we don't know the steps and we don't have an elevator that directly takes us there. We have to start making steps in that direction to that side to find a way there. That is essentially it. So you don't need to know every single step. You don't need to know how you're going to find these people specifically. You just start taking the steps. You start putting the information out there. You start doing those little things on a consistent basis to confirm to the divine that, first off, you trust that you are doing the right things and you're taking those steps. Because as we've had come up very recently, it's come up a few times, we can manifest and have these divine lives we can't even comprehend when we trust that the divine has our back and start just doing those little steps. And then the last part of this message is the weight of the world. So of course, this is our boundaries, letting go. It's not yours to carry. So this, I feel like, overlaps with what is going on around us. We don't need to carry it all. You're no good to anyone if you're running on empty, bogged down with the weight of the world. This card is to remind you to look after your own well-being before anyone else's, to stop carrying the world's problem on your shoulders, to put on your own oxygen mask first. In these changing times, it's hard not to feel overwhelmed by the state of the planet. However, you can't take on the problems from a place of energetic depletion. So this card is thanking us for caring so much. I know I can definitely be somebody who puts a lot of energy into the things that I see and frustration that people don't want to see the truth. And the guides are thanking us, those of us that are like that we care so much and that we want to build a better world and ease the road for others. Like, that's a huge thing. We really want big goals for this reality, and I know it. But we're being guided that what we've been doing might be unsustainable. This isn't to say you should switch off the world's problems and become unconscious. We do not want to do that. There's a lot of people who are literally living in that denial. They don't want to hear what's going on. Well, we can't really choose proper baby steps if we don't really see what is going on. We might be taking steps that are, this all works together, that we need to be able to clearly see what's going on, but we don't want our energies to be pulled into it, that it negatively affects us and stops us from trusting the divine and taking those baby steps. So what it's advised is, instead of digesting the news or reaching for your phone as soon as you wake up, practice meditation, your divine rituals. These are things I've talked about through my 3-day challenge and the bonus session, of course. Soul inquiry, deep breathing, exercising, doing something to connect you and ground you. Once you're in a state of grace, your inner well is full, then you can face the day and the state of the world, and it won't drag you into these heavy energies that create that burden, that put you out of balance. You can pick it up again the next morning I missed the last one. And at the day's end, in the morning, we do our energetic work before we let the world come in. And the same thing at the end of the day. Take the energy shower emptying out anything that's not yours, because you can pick it up again the next day when you have to relook at it, to continue deciding what baby steps you're going to choose to take from the consciousness, trusting that they're supporting you through that process. I feel like this is a very good message. We, again, consistently, this is being a repeating pattern that we need to trust the divine, surrender, let go of those things, fall into the arms, release those things that are holding us back, those negative energies, and trust. Because when we have those lower energies, it's because we're not feeling connected to the divine at that moment. So we need to choose to let that go and know that there is extremes in lives, but if we're choosing to be supported by the divine and having that connection, we're going to be okay. But we do need to take the baby steps. We're being constantly inundated with so much information from our divine guides, but we often either ignore it, or when we do have these inspirations come, we find reasons to not take those baby steps. You know, as easy as joining my 8-week workshop. That's a baby step. You just join. I'm going to help guide you. It's a baby step towards that connection. But then there's all the reasons, all the things that stop us. I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I don't feel like it. Maybe next month, the next time she runs it, I'll do it. Those are the things that will not support your spiritual evolution. Any of these reasons that you put in front of yourself to not take these steps, not have your daily ritual to connect to the divine, not having your practice to do it so that you will then be open to these steps. And then when the steps come to you, so these inspirations get downloaded, that if you know, first off, you have to be open to have them and use that baby step. And then when they come, you actually have to action them. And you're not going to action them if you're fearful and you don't take action on anything. That's not going to help you manifest the best 2024. And the weight of the world, you need to let go of those things. So we need to know what's going on as it advised, but we have to find a way that we don't energetically get pulled into the deep despair, because there's a lot of information if you are actually following what is happening. Okay, if you're following mainstream media, there's a lot of dystopian information, but a lot of it is not true and very perceptive and about a perceptive change. A lot of the true information, especially if you're in Canada with the censorship, is very dystopian what is happening. And it can be, I find for myself, the weight is very difficult some days. But this is also here, these messages to remind myself as much as you that we need to know them, because that is going to be important with us making our steps and choosing where we want to go. But we have to find our ways and our tools, which is why I'm offering this 8-week workshop, is that you get these tools to assist you in that practice to get yourself centered in the morning and the practice to get centered at night as per this card. So again, take those steps. And if you're not joining me for my 8-week workshop, find your own way through, because again, we are being guided that we need to trust, we need to start manifesting and start being open to listening to that intuition that is being downloaded all the time. But again, being able to use the tools that we have in our tool bucket to have this practice, to be able to be present here. So we use our spiritual practice in the morning, we're present, we can interact with all these energies and the dystopian issues that are happening, and then we can let them go, because it's not creating an imbalance in our life. We're not dwelling on that. We're dwelling, what we want to dwell on, our connection of trusting. That's where we want to put our energy. We don't want to hope. There is no hope. Hope is not a positive thing. We want action, and we want actionable trust, not hope that we trust, actionable feeling that we trust and have the ability to make the right steps or take them. So as always, like I mentioned, it's never too late to join my course. We've done the first week, but we are starting week 2. So if you are interested, breathewithinyoga.com, online workshops right there. You can sign up and join us if you feel this called. I highly recommend, if you are struggling with the baby steps, struggling with surrendering and trusting, this is the session for you. Until tomorrow, have a beautiful day. And again, I do hope and intend that this message, or I don't hope because I don't want to hope. I intend this message will help heal and serve you. I intend it. And if you haven't, please do like and subscribe. I forget to mention that all the time. And share this with other people that might find it helpful as well. Namaste.